Hello and welcome everybody to the Gigabyte Challenge number 8. These are the qualifiers for it. It's going to be a best of one series between Extreme, XPC International and Baked. XPC, the team I have casted a couple of times before. Baked though, no clue whatsoever, but we are in the draft now. Already we see the effects of the new patch coming in, but I'm not alone. I'm also joined by Grandis V. How you doing?
Doing wonderful. I haven't actually been able to cast any games on the new patch, but I played a couple of my own, and I don't know, it's really fun to watch just how the game's going to evolve. Like, this next month is going to be very interesting for me. But yeah, Terrorblade first ban. Not sure if he actually deserves that first ban slot, but he kind of does fit into the current direction that the meta is kind of shifting towards, where you have heroes that are going to scale incredibly well late, but also can function pretty well in the mid game. As right now, the pace of the game's starting to pull back a little bit, especially with the changes to towers and how pushes are now working. And also, not to mention the bounty changes. If you're able to remain just a little bit behind the enemy team and then you kill their position 1 carry at late game scenarios, you could end up getting a whole heck of a lot of gold. So I suppose it makes sense and just not something that XPC are comfortable playing against. But honestly, of the two new heroes added to Captain's mode, I think Legion Commander is the scarier.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you there. It's definitely, just the ability to steal damage as well as the challenge, the duel, whatever it's called, the ultimate duel, I think. It's such a sick ability. At least now it got changed that it doesn't disable passives anymore, I think, right?
Yeah.
So that's a huge nerf to him, to be honest, but in any case, Baked, they do have the first pick here and they're going for a Nature's Prophet. I guess that hero will just almost always be good. The Treants did get nerfed a little bit as well. They will have 0 magic resistance now, but even then, still has the global presence and the pushing power.
Yeah, it's still same old Nature's Prophet. I think one of the biggest things I want to see is a lot of teams abusing the fact that there's 2 runes now and roaming a lot with their supports and maybe even getting a bottle for them. As in the games that I was playing, it just seems so strong if you have rune control, getting those double bottle fills. Scarth Mage, picked up by XPC, did get hurt with the nerf hammer a little bit, mostly due to his early game scaling with concussive shot. The damage on his ultimate is now delayed a little bit, but it's still a very solid hero. His silence was remain untouched, and that's really where the hero's at. So I definitely think he's going to fall off a little bit, but he's still incredibly strong. Brewmaster also picked up by XPC. The scaling on his crit's a little bit different now, but still, I think his lightning presence is good enough, and his ultimate is still as good as ever. So there's no real reason to change from what you're comfortable, at least for now. Eventually, we might see these heroes fall further down in the drafting phase, but I still think they'll be pretty top-tier picks.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, and I think even when it was like from 6.8 to 6.81, the first couple of days, the week, maybe even the drafts, they didn't just alter all that much just because nobody had any proper experience in just practice scrims as well with the new patch. So might still be the same case here as well for a couple of days. But Bake now, the second pick coming up. I mean, usually you would see something like a Doombringer. I guess Doombringer is still a viable pick as well, especially up against Brewmaster.
I really didn't like Doom even at the end of 6.81. He still kind of felt like he was pigeonholing your draft really early on if you picked him at those early stages. So if they want the Doom, I think they'll have to wait a little bit further into it. Honestly, I'm not sure where they're going to go from this. Going an all-in push is a little bit risky. The Nature's Prophet's still going to be relevant because of the split push that he's offering, and you can play him in a lot of different ways. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Baked are going to go about it, and they're going to pick themselves up a Lich. Very peculiar. He's going to be pretty decent at delaying the push, especially on tier 2 towers with the extra 5 armor that they got in the recent patch, as well as now the 9 armor that you're going to get from Ice Armor, and also the reduced attack speed, even on ranged units, being fully effective. It's going to be very annoying to play against, but I'm not sure he's really worth this early tier pick. I think one of the heroes that Baked need to ban is going to be that Legion Commander we kind of touched on earlier. Is with a Scarth Mage on the pitch as well, that combination is incredibly strong. Blink and Duel, then drop the Scarth Mage ultimate, you can amp with the Ancient Seal as well, and it's just ridiculously powerful, especially when you're talking about extra units coming up from Nature's Prophet. Despite the base damage of Legion Commander's overwhelming odds being touched a little bit, it doesn't actually matter, since where it's really at is that extra damage per unit, almost making it as good as a level 1 Echo Slam.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a hero that should be on the list for a XPC to just potentially, or rather Bake to ban out. But they do start with a Chen ban, and of course nowadays, when you go for an Aghanim Scepter, you can start dominating Ancients as well. which can be a huge deal, especially considering every 30 seconds you can heal the Ancient back to full HP. But Clockwork, the secondary ban, Centaur taken out by XPC, so from XPC's side so far, the bans in the second phase completely standard. And do you think we'll see something who actually builds BKB or has a magic immunity for Baked, and just see the change as well that Ice Armor can now be applied to magic immune units?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid way of doing it. Even though you can't rebuy the BKB, it's still going to be really solid. And I don't know, I'd love to see that coming out from them. I think it's kind of a no-brainer. If XPC are comfortable running Legion Commander to pick it up for themselves, I don't know, it would just give them a really nice ability to initiate the team fights in the mid game. It would probably hold their mid position, potentially safe lane or off lane. Either of those, like the Brewmaster and Legion Commander, can kind of get juggled around as to where their lanes are going to land. But I would really like that coming out from XPC. Right now they're contemplating what their picks are, and honestly, I'm hoping that one of these teams has something completely out from left field that they'll bring into this draft, just a combination that they were theory crafting about, but for now it's looking pretty standard.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope really, to see the crazy things happen. At least the ban phase has mixed it up a little bit already. I mean, Terrorblade and Chen ban is definitely something you wouldn't have seen by the end of 6.81 really. At least not against the majority of teams, but Earthshaker is the pick for Extreme XPC, so Earthshaker, Sky of Mage, a really standard combination all in all. The one thing that I'm not too happy about for XPC at the moment is they really don't have any push, plus getting Roshan isn't all that easy for them, at least not yet.
Honestly, Baked are probably going to have an easier time getting the Roshan, especially with the new changes of the positioning of it. Dire side has less of an advantage, although it's still there. You have your Ancients to farm, and it's slightly in your favor. I think sneaking in there with the Nature's Prophet Lich, and if they have any other sources of minus armor or win a fight, I think it's actually better for Baked to take Roche. But yeah, I do like XPC's supporting duo quite a bit. These two heroes, I don't think they're really going anywhere in the meta. They might shift a little bit in priority, but Earthshaker, I think, is just as strong as ever. The bigger nerf, I think, to him, other than the Lincoln Sphere changes, which I would actually say is a buff to Earthshaker, is that Echo Slam, it doesn't go through Magic Immunity for the first tick of damage, and although it might not seem significant, it can make the difference in some team fights. Honestly, Earthshaker is still an amazing hero, and Rubik pretty much in the same boat. Not really much has been touched on Rubik. He's still going to be a solid hero.
Yeah, I mean, it has a pretty nice amount of ability still. Primal Split plus, I think most important, the Fissure. Having that instant Fissure is so damn great. Of course, nowadays Fissure also got changed a little bit, that it cannot be targeted, although I think most players didn't target it anyway, just to make sure you can actually get it on the right side as well. But a Tidehunter picked up from XPC. The Anchor Smash was nerfed a little bit, but I think it's still a strong enough ability.
Yeah, it definitely is. It changes his laning presence a little bit, but a very interesting pick from Baked is going to be the Magnus for them.
Oh man, I'm totally expecting them to pick up maybe even something like a Lifestealer now. Have him, actually Lifestealer was banned, man, XPC. Since nowadays you can also apply Empower through Magic Immunity, so both the Ice Armor as well as the Empower on Lifestealer could have been pretty damn sick. Lifestealer having the extra attack speed from Rage anyway as it is. So what other heroes could they now go for that actually can make good use of the Empower? I mean, any kind of carry, right-click carry will find it useful, but will they want a melee hero to just utilize that spell, or are they like, yes, screw it, we don't need the cleave part of it really all that much, just the extra damage aspect of it?
The first hero that comes to mind is Ember Spirit, although you are picking Ember Spirit into the long-range initiation from Fissure as well as the Silence from Skyrath Mage. Brewmaster also going to make his life pretty difficult. But if they really want to abuse that Empower, which is really why you pick the Magnus, to be honest, that might be where they go. But XPC snag themselves up a Naga Siren. I'm going to expect this to be a carry Naga, as there's just not another way that they can lane this. They have some decent spells to set up inside the Song of the Siren. Walking in for a really beautiful Ravage or an Echo Slam is always nice. Also setting up for the Skyrath Mage Mystic Flare is pretty solid. But honestly, I'm not sure where this came from. It's going to be a Phantom Assassin from Baked. I love this pick, actually. It's going to give them a hero that's going to very well abuse that Empower extra damage with the crit as well as the cleave. Accelerating her farm. Honestly, Phantom Assassin on her own is a pretty lackluster hero, but when you do give that extra steroid of damage from the Magnus, it could work out very well. I don't know. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, as XPC have a lot of tools to counter-initiate if Magnus does jump in for the RP, but if the RP is on point every time, this Phantom Assassin pick could work wonders.
Yeah, definitely good, and all I can say about Phantom Assassin is that he's gonna have to build towards the BKB this game. I don't think there's any way
sure.
around it, really.
No, there's absolutely not. Phantom Assassin didn't get changed that much. They flipped the way that Blur works, so it's very peculiar how it actually interacts. You can see her on the map when she's close, but now if she's farming jungle by herself and you spot her out with a word, you're not actually spotting her out. So you have to be very diligent on the map to watch her while she's rotating around. I'm not sure if that changes the hero that much. I think it's the same old Phantom Assassin, which honestly isn't a bad thing. Looks like she's going to be going mid, and on the Radiant side, as I'm at it, we might as well go ahead and introduce them, with EGA playing on the Phantom Assassin, being supported by Joik on the Rubik, as well as a Lich, played by Apathy. The Magnus is going to be played by Chicken MC, leaving last but not least our Nature's Prophet, played by Can I Has Cookie.
And for XPC International, Madara will be playing that offlane Brewmaster by the looks of it, supported by 224 on the Skyrive Mage, with Water to play the mid lane core Naga Siren, leaving Spartan on the Overshaker, and the last one will be Relax on the Tidehunter.
Yeah, currently our mid lane matchup is going to be Naga Siren versus Magnus, a matchup that we usually don't see. I don't know, I don't think it favors either hero incredibly heavily, although Magnus isn't really going to be forcing Naga Siren out of lane, especially if there's bottle crowing or if there's good rune control coming out from both sides, especially with the new bounty rune. As long as they can secure one of those, the Riptide spam is going to come out, and as is the Shockwave from the Magnus. So I don't think there's going to be that big of a difference. At earlier levels, Empower is going to have less mana cost, so we might see Magnus actually get an early value point into that to help with last hitting, as only 30 mana is definitely sustainable if you're running the bottle.
Yeah, I mean, when Magnus used to be popular, a couple of players did like to go for the Empower early on, like really early on even. Just help out with the farming, and it's definitely a possibility for him, as in the bottom lane, Yoik, he already took some pretty nice damage, really, down to half HP, has to use a couple of tangos. Nothing major though, and XPC with this aggressive tri-lane, how successful do you think they'll be?
It should be moderately successful with Concussive Shot and a Fissure and follow up with an Earthclap. That's a lot of damage, especially when you have an Indus rune. Picked up by Spartan, that could be pretty important. I didn't see the bounty rune get picked up. I think it actually got snagged. It was Lich. Gets a little bit of extra golden experience, which will be nice, especially for a Lich. He's going to be accelerated pretty heavily. Right now, the Nature's Prophet and Rubik are not going to show their face in lane pretty much at all, and it looks like they're just going to be pulling and snagging as much as they can out of this jungle. Spartan could be really annoying and block this pull, and he is actually going to do so. Whether he's actually going to have to hit it or not is irrelevant. They only get one of the melee creeps away. Now, Spartan is visible, although it was pretty obvious that he was already here. I don't think they're going to give up a kill, but they definitely could. The killing potential coming out from this XPC tri-lane is pretty solid. Up in top, Tidehunter isn't going to be able to get that much out of this lane. Usually Tidehunter does very well up against the Phantom Assassin, but when you also have a Lich in this lane, denying that constant experience and also harassing him out with Frostblast, it's going to be really annoying for Lax, although he's not going to die, more than likely.
Yeah, he should be able to run away, or of course Stifling Dagger will also be pretty damn annoying, but just up against the Lich, I mean, really, whichever solo laner will struggle just because of that constant spam. Can I Has Cookie already taking some damage? Gonna get slowed down as well. Do they really want to dive this? I mean, there's the Fissure as well. Yes, they do. The first blood to come out. Madara draws it as well. So, really nicely done by XPC. Of course, Earthshaker dropping low as well. One more right click. Rubik, can he get it in? Spartan, he's running a little bit faster. Yoik tries to eat his way through with the trees. There's the actually Arcane Bolts. Can they turn it around? One more Fissure. He's clarifying up. Actually, they're gonna go for the counter, I think. Fissure will fly through. Madara coming in close as well. Doesn't even need a Thunderclap.
Yep, just a crit. Rubik stuck around a little too long. Very well played by the Earthshaker. Both of those Fissures very on point. Just getting the perfect blocks, and I don't know, this is the strength of the Earthshaker. Even with just 1 point in the Fissure, you can do a lot of work.
Yeah, and Water finds himself that Bounty Rune, and that just leaves Illusion Rune to be free to pick up by Skyrive Mage. Can use the illusions to just create some havoc, maybe make it so that the mid laner has to back off a little bit, play a little bit safer or something. So we can already see just the minor changes with the Bounty Rune coming into play, Water being able to just fill up his bottle. And if you can actually control both runes, it's going to be a pretty useful thing for their team.
Yeah, for sure. Currently, this mid lane matchup is pretty much a wash. 13-3, 14-3 now on the Magnus, compared to 13-1 on Water. It's pretty much the same. I don't think we're going to be seeing much rotation out of either of these heroes as well. It's going to be pretty passive. Up in top, Relax is going to take a lot of harass, but I don't think he's going to die. Just going to be forced out a little bit. Still, Tidehunter finding his level 3 and not giving up a kill, and can't say the same for Can Has Cookie, as he's going to get dropped down again in bottom lane. Tries for a TP out, not going to be successful.
Oh man, Madara is going to have a really fast blink there. I would actually like to see him maybe go for Arcane Boots first, just to make sure that your supports can continuously go for aggression as well. Otherwise, the killing potential or the killing speed might slow down for them with just a lack of mana. the clarities, they're all out of them as well now. Of course, a lot of brewmasters don't like to go for arcane boots anymore, just rush the blink dagger, which definitely has its advantages, but in an aggressive trial, I think just having those early arcane boots on anybody is such a huge asset.
Yeah, I think so as well. It depends on how he wants to play it. A blink would be very useful, as with the other one. Is EGA up top going to take a lot of damage from Relax? He's going to return a little bit of the rest that was given to him. Phantom Assassin shouldn't die. They do have a salve, excuse me, on the Lich here, and he's probably going to pass that one the way of the Phantom Assassin if things get a little bit more scary for him. Currently, the Tidehunter hasn't actually been zoned out very effectively. Currently sitting at level 4, and if you compare that to the other levels in the game, looking pretty solid, all said and done. So yeah, Phantom Assassin going to be forced to eat through that regen, is down in bottom, they go for Joy yet again. They are going to be able to bring him down. These fissures and just the Skywrath Mage Earthshaker combo paying wonders for Team XPC here. They keep on running down this bottom lane and keep on giving away their lives. I would have thought that they would have positioned a little bit more defensively or just try to do damage control in this lane, but right now they're just running consecutively into these two supports.
There's really nothing they can do. At the very least, 2-4 is pretty low on mana now on the Skywrath Mage, and same can be said for Spartan as well, that doesn't even have enough for that one fissure. So maybe the aggression will slow down a little bit now. But top lane, Tidehunter actually farming up still pretty damn nicely. EGA trying to harass him with the Siphoning Dagger, but it is only level 2 for now. So relax, he's gonna hit his level 6 soon enough. And I actually thought that he's gonna have a slightly rougher time on this top lane, but I guess I was a little bit mistaken.
Yeah, now with 3 points in Anchor Smash, that damage reduction is going to be pretty much back to where it was. Really only affects a very early portion of this game, and now the Phantom Assassin has to be pretty careful, as her damage is going to be significantly reduced. If you look, trying to attack this Tidehunter is taking literally no damage, a little bit from the Lich, but that's all he has to worry about. Now going to Anchor Smash again, he needs a Frost Blast and needs to be careful with the stick charges. However, he might be able to make a turn once he gets another Anchor Smash, and EGA can't go for this. He drops the Anchor Smash, gets the last hit, and will be able to get back, but this Magic Stick for the Tidehunter paying off very heavily, just with the Stifling Dagger spam as well as the Lich constantly Frost Blasting him.
Yeah, at the moment, Baked, they are not looking too good at all. Naga Siren has actually pulled out ahead a little bit on this mid lane as well. Apathy actually wants to go for it, he has the Frost Blast. It's not enough though, the tower, will it be? Yes, relax. Gets it with that last Anchor Smash, level 3. So 5-0 for XPC. Naga Siren farming up pretty damn nicely as well in the mid lane. 33-1 compared to 27-4 now. I mean, not a huge difference, but still, Naga Siren more or less free farm for her highest last hitter in the game. And Rubik, he can't really even do much of anything. He has the telekinesis, but even if Chicken MC went for that reverse polarity into skewer under the tower or something, it still just probably wouldn't be enough since they wouldn't have Fate Bolt or any other burst damage.
Yeah, it's really problematic. They needed this Phantom Assassin to get off to an early start, and she's not really doing that. The Tidehunter is able to put a decent amount of pressure, and all 3 of these lanes are either winning or trading evenly for XPC, and yeah, that's just not where Baked want to be. This Rubik in particular is just having a terrible time, still level 1. There's just not a space for Joik on this map where he actually fits in. They can't get kills in any of their lanes. He can't really stack, he can't really pull. If he stacks, the Naga Siren is liable to just go ahead and steal those. Eventually, the Phantom Assassin can clear those out once they get some Empower on the Magnus, but currently with only level 7, we're not going to see that early point from the Mag, and a far ways away before he's actually able to max that out. Nature's Prophet, caught out by another Fissure down in bottom of the clap, as well as the down to the Skywrath Mage is probably going to be enough. The defensive lift is going to help him for a little bit, and the Sprout might save his life here, especially when they bring the Lich in. He'll be able to TP away to safety, but the Lich might not be so lucky. Apathy gonna take a lot of damage here, but there's no other Fissure coming out from the Earthshaker. Still waiting for that mana.
Actually, Madara, he blinked in aggressively. Apathy will go down, but Madara, he doesn't have his ultimate. Even if he did, he wouldn't have enough mana for it. Healing Salve does get cancelled, so most likely will go down. 3 heroes are there. Shockwave connects as well. Well, there's no escaping anymore for the Brewmaster. Actually, I think his blink was off cooldown there for a little while, but just didn't use it in time. So finally, Baked, they get themselves on the board.
Yeah, that's going to be ending the killing spree and giving quite a bit of gold back towards Baked. I didn't think that they'd dive that Rubik because of that, but in the end, that's how it's going to be. Magnus going to bump right into Spartan. Spartan going to eat the Shockwave from the Magnus and might fall down here. It looks like he is going to commit the RP, and another Shockwave's all he's going to need, but the Nature's Prophet ultimate makes sure that he doesn't actually have to expend any more. Not sure if it was entirely necessary to drop the RP, but still RP for a kill, definitely worth it.
Yeah, this early on, it's just better to secure the kill than just not use her ultimate for an extended period of time at all. And he's gonna get... Oh,
Ravage top! Ooh, they're going to catch out EGA as well as Apathy, but he doesn't have any backup here. Relax isn't taking any damage and might be able to chase down EGA. The Anchor Smash is going to be off the mark, but now the Fissure not going to be thrown by the Earthshaker just yet, looking for both of them. Nugget's Iron with the Riptide, now the Fissure to secure the kill on the Earthshaker. Going to notch them. 2 kills in his top lane. The first usage of Ravage, a lot more impactful than the first usage of RP.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just excellently done. And this Phantom Assassin, I mean, it's not like he has bad farm by any means, but considering they did have a dual lane, and Tidehunter, he has the same amount of farm plus, has been a part of free kills now as well, it's definitely not working out as they expected, I think. So, at the moment, XPC is still looking good. Looking at the graphs as well, about a 3,000 gold lead. XP 2,000, so not that huge for XPC, but we are of course only 9 minutes in still.
Yeah, and Nagasaran going to be saving up quite a bit of gold, presumably going straight towards that Radiance for water. And this should be a pretty scary timing Radiance. She hasn't been stacking the camps very liberally throughout this game, but currently is going to be farming up 2 of these as she does get that successful stack off. And with her ultimates available, there's plenty of tools to make space for this Nagasaran. Currently, it's a 4 Protect 1 strat coming out from XPC, as she's really the only hero that scales. So in a true super late game scenario, Phantom Assassin Nature's Prophet could combat the Nagasaran, but just with the amount of farm she's going to get in this game, it's going to be pretty ridiculous. Shockwave going to land mid on the Earthshaker, but there isn't going to be a skewer back with the Nature's Prophet TPing in. It might be enough, but Ican has Cookie taking a lot of damage. Skewer's going to be completely off the mark. His Phantom Assassin does get the kill on the Tide, looking for the Sprout. Shockwave also going to miss, but Madara, he is here with the split available, going to drop the collapse solo on a Chicken MC, waiting for the split. There's the split after the silence comes out onto the Magnus. They're going to boulder toss up. Ican has Cookie as they split up their focus. They will be able to get both of these kills. Riptide securing that one for the Nagasaran. Now perched down to the ground. Magnus trying to be off the RP, won't be able to do so, and double kill for Water, already dangerously close to that relic.
Yeah, that's absolutely huge, to be honest, that they were able to get the Nagasaran close enough for the assist gold there as well. Oh man, it's just spiraling rather out of control. 2-4 though might go down to Joik here. Never mind Rubik. I think he spotted out Skyr of Mage, but Skyr of Mage just leaves behind an aggressive Observer Ward. Gonna pick up the Bounty Rune, some extra XP, and most likely go back to home, regen up just to make sure that the next time you come out, you have enough mana for the Mystic Flare.
Yeah, EGA did get a kill on the Tidehunter during all of that, so not all is bleak for Big, but it's not enough. The Phantom Assassin, her jump in power isn't going to be for quite some time. She needs that BKB before she actually comes online, and even then, her damage is still going to be pretty lackluster, especially since you have a Magnus that has no points in Empower just yet, and won't have that maxed until somewhere around level 14. They are going in mid, they find themselves a Skyrath Mage, and a crit for good measure. EGA notches himself a new kill.
Yeah, and bottom lane, simultaneously, Lich got killed as well. Blink, Thunderclap, Fissure to follow, and one extra right click from Madara was just enough to get the kill. So, trading supports at the moment. Both of them were at least level 6, Scarf Mage a little bit higher, so might have been a slightly better kill for them. Especially considering that EGA was struggling a little bit, but look at the Tidehunters item build, man. Triple Ring of Regen.
Yeah, a very peculiar item build from the Tidehunter. I mean, he's regenning a lot in lane, and eventually we might see this built in the pipe. I think that's the only item that's going to use this many rings of regen, but honestly, I'm not sure if pipe's really warranted this game. It'll be nice up against the Lich ultimate, but honestly, that's not the hugest of deals until Lich gets higher levels. Yeah, so not a huge fan of this choice. I think the Blink Dagger would have been better, but they also have the Blink Initiation from the Brewmaster, as well as a Nagasaran Song to set things up, so it's acceptable. Speaking of the Naga, that is going to be your completed relic at sub 12 minutes in incredibly fast timing.
Man, and they just now killed that first tower as well. I mean, if you get it pre-12 minutes, usually it's like you have destroyed all tier 1s already or something crazy like that, but nope. Just great farm, being a part of a couple of kills as well on top of it all, and that just goes to show that whenever you have the refill bottle, which I think he has gotten a proper refill with a rune every single time in this game so far, just spamming out the Riptide, you shouldn't really miss all too many last hits in the mid lane thanks to that. And oh, are they gonna catch Chicken MC? Don't think so. And actually Magnus himself, he isn't all that far from his Blink Dagger. So when he gets that baked, just teamfight potential becomes a lot higher, but being up against the Primal Split, Ravage, as well as the Song of the Siren, I still think the teamfight just should go in the favor of XPC almost every single time.
Especially now that we have a Blink Dagger on Spartan. Nature's Prophet going to be caught out by the Skyrath Mage, still killing up the Nature's Prophet pretty casually. The Brewmaster was inbound, but didn't even throw out a spell. Currently has the split. He's going to Blink Clap and just crit down the Apathy. He's going to be dropped down very easily, and 2 more kills going the way of XPC. This snowball is rolling very hard for them.
Oh yeah, it most certainly is. Of course, nowadays, they need to make sure that they don't get reckless and start giving away kills, because if they do, it does mean Bake, they will have a lot of easier time to just come back compared to the last patch, 6.81. But man, Spartan having the Blink Dagger, like you mentioned, such a huge deal. I mean, the Blink Dagger is there on Magnus as well, but the enemy support got it a little bit before the Magnus. That's a huge deal.
To be fair to the Magnus, he did get Bottle and Arcane Boots before the Blink Dagger, but still, Earthshaker with the Blink this early is a force to be reckoned with. Usually, Echo Slime isn't that scary of a tool to fight up against. Earthshaker's not going to have a lot of mana to actually use his full combo. I think he's only going to have enough for the or Echo Slime as well as the Fissure, or vice versa. Skywrath Mage, caught out down bottom, going to take a lot of damage from the Nature's Prophet ultimate, and Ken I has Cookies is also going to drop very low. But both are going to be able to escape with fairly low HP. Crucially, Naga Siren almost has her Radiance completed. Currently, we have a group up by Baked in the mid lane, looking to put that Blink Dagger on the Magnus could use. They find themselves Madara, and that's not really a target you want to go on. Thunderclap stolen by the Rubik. It's a decent spell and all, but it's not enough. His Skywrath Mage is going to die, I believe, just the Nature's Prophet ultimate. Maybe just the tree? Did that tree just find him out?
Oh no, he actually TP'd in aggressively, but oh, mid lane Song of the Siren Madara wants to actually get a nice Thunderclap. So far, I think it's only going to hit one if he stays there. But nope, just Primal Split, no Thunderclap at all. There's the Blink, immediate telekinesis up. There's the back. Oh, actually Echo Slam used. Apathy still alive. They're not doing all that much damage, but Spartan, he will go down to the Chain Frost. It's pouncing around pretty damn nicely. It's a 1-for-1 in the mid lane so far. I has Cookie. They're gonna get water, I think. Yes, the Ensnare, not gonna be enough. That fight by XPC was so damn forced, but now another Thunderclap. They will get the Apathy, but Chicken MC with the double damage. Is he gonna have enough for anything at all? IS Cookie will go down to the Mystic Flare of 224, but Skywrath Mage, he's on the run now. Can he turn it around, or can he escape someone's Lifelink there? Will slow him down. Another Blink Thunderclap. There's the reverse polarity. Don't think it's enough to actually get the kill, or actually it might be with the just throwback of the skewer. So in the end, a 3, actually I think a 4-4-2 even.
Suddenly, if you look at the graphs, that big change in how experience and gold is distributed during fights is completely changed. After it actually backs up, this is going to get very close to an almost evened out graph, and that's a completed BKB on the Phantom Assassin after this fight. Honestly, I haven't seen real numbers for that changed very much, and the ones that I thought I was like, that's kind of bloated, but apparently it's not. In mid, we do have Chicken MC jumping on the Earthshaker. It's going to be lifted up, followed by the Rubik. The Skewer is going to miss, and Spartan's going to be just fine. But yeah, now Phantom Assassin has her item, and Naga Siren doesn't have her Radiance. She didn't pick it up before she died, and that's going to be a lot of gold lost. It's just such a topsy-turvy game right now. It didn't look like it. It honestly looked like a complete stomp, but one fight and baked her completely back into it.
Yeah, I think XPC, they should have also rotated in the Tidehunter for that, for example, who actually has picked up a Vanguard and a Buckler as well, so we're gonna see that new item come into effect in this game probably. But will they go in for the fight? Blink Thunderclap onto EGA, he's the only one actually getting caught. Mother, he doesn't have his Primal Split, there's the Fissure, only catches one as well, Telekinesis up on Relaxed. EGA activates his BKB, they want to go for the tower. Might not have been the best usage of BKB, but at least XPC, they aren't going all that aggressive quite yet. But Radiance is there on Naga Siren now. They're gonna get slow onto Apathy as well. Chupin Ezekiel silence onto the Phantom Assassin. Spartan didn't get the Fissure off quite yet. Actually, he's waiting for it. Oh man, he gets it finally, but he goes down in return. It is a 2-for-1 though, still favoring XPC. There's a buyback. What? 2-for-2 for the Skewer? It misses, and there's the Ravage coming out. 3 enemy heroes. Mystic Flare on top of them with the Thunderclap as well. Nicely executed there. 4 heroes down. Chicken MC, can he blink out? Can he run away? Nope, Fissured up, slowed down as well. There's the silence and snare. And that's a full team wipe.
Suddenly, that last fight doesn't look too bad for XPC as they'd made up all of the ground that they lost, if they lost any to begin with. XPC find themselves a Radiance complete in Naga, now 1,400 gold on top of it. The mid-tier 1 tower, crucially for Bake, didn't get dropped, and that BKB usage by the Phantom Assassin was very questionable. Yeah. I'll touch on the Tidehunter's item choice. I really hate it. Honestly, it's kind of a dead item in his inventory. The Aura is going to be really nice for his team, but right now he has a Vanguard that's giving him exactly 250 health and 6 HP regeneration because the damage block does nothing. The Buckler is nice and the Crimson Guard is useful, but honestly, I don't think Tidehunter is the hero to get it on. Get your Blink, get a Pipe even. I would have liked that item a whole lot more.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I was expecting like mech or pipe, like either or,
Yes.
since nobody isn't really building pipe for them. At least it looks awesome, man, when it's activated.
I suppose it has that going for it. But yeah. It's going to be XPC's game right now. Naga Siren has all of the room in the world. She's not completely online just yet, but it's enough. Naga Siren has the map control that she needs to farm. Blink away from Magnets will keep him safe down in bottom. It's not even going to be a very slow game from XPC. They're grouping up very liberally. They have their ultimates on off of cooldown, with the exception being of Tidehunter's Ravage, which is still down for a minute. But with just Split as well as Echo Slam available on your Blink Earthshaker, it's enough to really make Big scared of fighting.
Yeah,
Ooh, up top.
Oh, can they get the kill? I mean, they have Mystic Flare. Oh, nice jukes, but one more Arcane Bolt. I think he's going to do it. The telekinesis there. Blink, Thunderclap, Mother. They get the kill, and I think Joik is in such a bad position. Holy crap, man. 23 to 10. It's not like XPC you were hurting for kills as it is, but they were kind enough to give them more.
Yeah, seems that way. Scarlet Mage, it would have been a lot cleaner if he landed the ultimate, but in the meantime, Spartan's going to die to the Phantom Assassin. He's still chasing down Relax. The damage block is going to be very annoying for it to go through, but the Frost Blast and one more crit is going to be enough as they now look for water. The Song of Siren baited out. No TP available for the Naga. She's just going to have to walk this one off, but I think she'll be able to survive. She does have backup in the form of the Scarlet Mage coming through, but he's fairly far away, and water is, yeah, going to be just fine. Yeah, Scarlet Mage might not be so lucky as he's going to turn on to 2-2-4. This Phantom Assassin isn't anywhere close, and the FT is just going to die straight up to the Arcane Bolt. 2-2-4 doing a lot of damage. Nature's Prophet baiting a TP is going to decide to go to top instead. This Scarlet Mage is doing quite a lot of work for XPC.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to come down that as well. Scarlet Mage, he's been playing so damn well. Actually, so has Spartan. Really, the supports, they were the force behind getting those early kills mostly. And Madara now on the Brewmaster, he's level 40 and he went for a Vladimir's offering as well. So with the Crimson Scarred and the Vlads, they actually have quite the resilience to physical damage. And like I mentioned earlier on when we were just discussing whether Tidehunter is going for a pipe or not, the physical damage aspect definitely is nice for blocking. There's not the craziest amount of magic damage, although if they ever land a Chain Frost reverse polarity combination, it has the potential to just wreck everything. But it's gonna have to be just pretty much perfect, but I highly doubt that XPC are gonna be grouped up considering how many blinks they have. They should be mobile enough to just avoid getting reverse polarities.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think my biggest gripe with the Tidehunters build this game is that if you are going to go for Vanguard into Crimson Guard, you should max out Gush instead of Kraken Shell. One value point in a Kraken Shell is enough to do anything because the extra points are doing nothing. Stats would have been more effective if you are going to go for this build, and I don't know, it might have just been an afterthought like, hey, the Crimson Guard might be a really cool item in this game, but if you're going to be playing it, I think the Gush aggressive playstyle is going to be better suited. And Nagasarn does have Boots of Travel working towards her Yasha and Manta style as her next item choices, and the split push is going to be incredibly annoying. Yasha now completed. Nature's Prophet also going to be split pushing pretty liberally with his Maelstrom as well as Blink. But the Roshan is going to go down in the favor of XPC, giving Tidehunter an Aegis. Not sure if I like the Aegis on the Tidehunter. I think Brewmaster would have been better carrier, but whatever, floats your boat. Nagasarn, your ideal hero, that's getting gone on top with the double damage, and she's going to potentially make a turn here, as there are heroes in reserve, but the Magnus also waiting in the wings. Chicken MC looking for a big RP, not going to find it as the double fissure comes out now into Apathy with the ultimate, beautifully comboed. A nice RP, might be able to bring down water, screws her, and isolates her away from the rest of the team. The right clicks are going to be there as the net is going to keep him in place, and now with the Arcane Bolt, it's going to be enough to keep this Naga alive, surviving by the skin of her teeth, but Water is going to be very happy with how that turned out. I thought Magnus would at least get that Naga kill, and I was very curious to see how much gold he'd actually get from it, but in the end, Baked find themselves nothing.
Yeah, they are in such a horrible position really. 28 to 12. Looking at the graphs again, it has surpassed the 10k mark at gold. XP actually pretty much at the exact same amount as well. Plus, XPC, they're slowly going for the tier 2 towers as well now. Having, of course, all the tier 1s down from before. Actually, EG, he wants to go on Mother. ATP is coming in though. It's going to be the Nagasar. If they get the ensnare, it might be huge. They won't follow up though, because of course Blur is still a pretty annoying thing to go through.
Yeah, for sure. A lot of the damage is currently magical, just with the nukes, as well as the Radiance from Naga Siren, but avoiding the damage from the right clicks of Water and the Brewmaster is going to be enough to keep her alive. Honestly, none of the heroes are going to be very viable MKB carriers. Naga Siren might consider it, but honestly, the other items would probably be better for just bolstering the illusions and killing the rest of the enemy team, and then you can focus the Phantom Assassin. But for now, it's going to keep EGA more or less safe. They might decide to go instead, just walking straight up to her Thunderclap. They're going to get the crit, not going to miss. The Stifling Dagger in turn potentially might come out, although Madera does have a split. I don't think he's going to lose his Magnus. Picked off on the other side of this fight, or fight if we can call it that. Split comes out from the Brewmaster. Boulder tosses up the Rubik Joy. Probably going to get brought down with the Gush and the extra damage it will. BKB on EGA, but he's just not doing any damage with the Anchor Smash, literally hitting for 80 a hit, and even if he crits, it does nothing. Netted down, silence up, Scarlet Mage, Ravage committed, they're going to find themselves a very easy kill. This Chain Frost going to bounce through, does quite a bit of damage, but it's just not enough, bounces through a lot, and GG called out by Joik. I'm not sure you can really fault him for calling it, despite being very early on in the game and no barracks being brought down, but it's just such a huge lead, and I'm not sure they actually want to go about going through it. It is going to be a best of one. That's all she wrote between these two teams.
I was just hoping to see like one attempt at reverse polarity into the combination that they could have had, but they didn't even attempt it. A little bit of a letdown for me, but XPC, they were playing so damn well as it is, so just congratulations to them advancing to the secondary round, and we're gonna follow them as well unless it's gonna take a huge time and we can just get a much faster start with another game that's equally as good at the very least. So guys, thank you for tuning in, and just we're gonna let you know what the next matchup is gonna be. XPC versus somebody. But until then, just a couple of songs and hopefully to see you in a couple of minutes.